Well, I'm now joined by Clive Holland, who presents the show on Fixed Radio about everything affecting the construction industry. Thank you very much indeed for joining us here on Sky News. Now, you come from a building world. You've been in the industry your entire life. Your whole family, of course, is also in there. And what you currently do is that you keep an eye on the sector. How is the sector reacting then to the current news? And indeed, we have to also make clear that the price cap is all only for domestic settings. So that means that businesses like the industry that you're looking at will certainly be taking an even bigger hit.
Yeah, hi Vanessa. Yeah, the industry's taken a hit for a while actually, because if you think about it, during COVID, for instance, the government asked the industry, our construction industry, to carry on working and to try and meet the target of the crazy target of 300,000 properties to be built a year. And whilst all their family and friends and everything else were furloughed and at home, these people, men and women, were out working, and so therefore there's a lot of stress on that. They also had to deal then with during COVID, and then we had this Russia-Ukraine scrap going on, and then the fuel prices going up, red diesel taken off them. There was so much going on that was putting prices up for their customers as well. And we also had this situation where we still got a shortage of certain materials today, so jobs can't be completed on time. Quotes and estimates that they're doing are not holding for more than 30 days because it's fluctuating all over the place. And so it's been very difficult. And I think it's been a really stressful time for them. And the thing is, I just want to point out, Vanessa, is this, that our tradespeople in this country are the best in the world. You know, I've seen plenty of work around the world and they do okay, but our men and women are fantastic. And I think they've had a lot of pressure. And now this on top of it, because you've got to bear in mind that their clients, their customers are now thinking to themselves, hang on a second, I've got to pull my belt in. That extension I wanted or that refurb I wanted is now going on hold. So what do? You know, a lot of the people into my radio station, into my program on Fixed, they say, you know, we're concerned, we're worried there's been a drop-off around 30% of people cancelling work. And that's frightening. That is so frightening for them. And then on the other hand, you know, putting their domestic hat on, they've also got their domestic costs to deal with as well. Their gas, their electric. So it's almost like trying to juggle sand underwater. It's so difficult for them to do that. And that's why a lot of them are under a heck of a lot of stress at the minute. And I'd love to be able to say, you know what, we're not going to head into a recession. Things will be okay. But I'm afraid I can't say that. I think we probably are going to hit a recession. You know, when you consider, you know, look at the inflation rate at the minute, 10.1%. Who'd have thought that when back in August 2020, just 2 years ago, it was 0.2%. That's a massive change. A massive sea change for them.
Absolutely. Well, the governor of the Bank of England has actually warned us, hasn't he, that we are heading for a recession. And in terms of the people, Clive, that you've been speaking to and the businesses that they currently run, have any of them in recent weeks and months following the cost of living crisis that we're currently going through, have any of them had to be forced to close down?
Yeah, but well, one or two of them not necessarily forced to close down at the moment. Then they're sort of jumping ship now, moving from their own business, their own individual business, and going to climb on board with some of the big players. But don't forget, some of those big players who are building houses at the moment, you think that the cost of building those houses now has gone up dramatically. So therefore, the end cost is also going to go up. So that's going to put off first-time buyers. You've got interest rates through the roof. So everybody's concerned about how much work there is out there. There are some that are doing really well, don't get me wrong. Some are doing really well. But there's one or two that are really feeling it at the moment. And one of the shocking stats, because we have to think about all sorts of different things as well for our industry, by the way. We've got stats like 245 grand's worth of tools are stolen every day from builders. I wish we could do something about that. 30 vans a day are broken into. So it's all extra stress. And then one of the things that really shocked me, back in 2019, actually, I was doing a show and a guy rang me to say that his father had committed suicide because of the stress and the strain he was under then, back in 2019. Now, I didn't know anything about this, I've got to be honest, and I didn't know if it was a bit of a wind-up phone call, but I phoned him afterwards and I chatted with him, and we talked about it. And he said, "Look, I've taken over the role now from my father, who passed away at 52, and I feel the same." So I delved into it a little bit more deeply, and I then found out that there are two of our wonderful colleagues every day are taking their own lives, two every working day. And that is the real shock of it. And when you think about builders, and I know people think this, they probably sometimes see their backside hanging out of their trousers or whatever, and they think they're rough, tough geezers, men and women. But inside, they hurt, but they're brilliant at keeping this fantastic mask on. They've got a fantastic, the show must go on mask, but behind the scenes, they're struggling and they're in trouble. And that's why I'm desperate to say today, and use your program to say to them, even with all these price increases and everything going on, if you're feeling the stress and the strain of it, please talk to someone. Even if you don't want to talk to your family, talk to a stranger, talk to anyone. Get onto my show or your show, whatever, and just talk, because I hate this situation we're in at the minute. It's a real big shock.
Absolutely. Never feel that you are alone. That is very crucial, Clive, to get that message across. And Clive, we're running out of time, but I just very quickly want to get your points on the current Tory leadership candidates that we've got. Do you think that they're offering enough for yourself and indeed your listeners?
Well, the answer to that, I'm afraid, has got to be no. I'm fed up with the days of the long knives as well. It always happens. We have situations where people are put in positions and roles, particularly in our industry, construction ministers who get jobs. We've had 7 in as many years. None of them have got a background in the business. We need that. It bothers me that there's all this infighting between Sunak and Truss at the minute. They're taking the focus away from the game. I hate sound bites. I want people who actually will say to you and say to everyone who's watching on Sky News today, say, look, the next couple of years, it's going to be tough. We really are going to have to pull in. But together we can see something at the end of it, and stop telling the porkies. We need help. We need to pull together. Nobody expected COVID. Nobody expected Ukraine, Russia, right? Nobody expected that. But we've got to deal with it. But we need honesty. It's no good fobbing us off and sound biting us, because it won't wash with anyone anymore. Yeah. We need truth, we need transparency, and that'll help not just our industry, but everyone, on the planet.
Clive, you've put your point across brilliantly. Thank you so much indeed. Clive Holland, who of course presents a show on Fixed Radio about everything affecting the construction industry. Clive, I'm grateful for your time. Thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you, Vanessa, for having me on.